Okay. I'll call the regular council meeting Monday, March 24th, 2025 to order. Any introduction of late items?
We will have an amendment to the agenda to remove the item 7.1 letter from Marie Delorme due to legal issues.
Okay. Can I get the amended adopted agenda? Can I get a mover and seconder? Councillor Reid and Councillor Stanbury, all in favor? Carried.
First item is the adoption of minutes from the regular council meeting, that the minutes from the regular council meeting held March 10th, 2025 be adopted.
Can I get a mover and seconder? Councillor Stanbury and Councillor Reid, all in favor? Carried.
And we have question period regarding items on the agenda.
Any questions? Go ahead. State your name and where.
Pat Schwartz. I was going to address Marie's letter on number 7, and I was wondering why it would be readable. It's really disturbing when you go to Facebook and you see information on there that you find out there are people who have a lot of questions about things that council has been involved in. And I'm just wondering if you would like us to address it by anybody who has concerns. We just send in our own list of questions.
Well,
I think it would be more efficient to have a public meeting, but
well, we can't comment on the letter itself.
no.
So we can have you can send in letters with questions, and we can send out the answers to those letters.
So you would rather have 20 letters that you have?
It's not rather. It's not rather. We gotta make sure that we're getting all the facts so that we can answer your questions. That's the issues. So
you still don't have the facts surrounding any of these issues?
we're not talking about the letter.
Okay.
Anything else?
Are we
Dave?
allowed to ask any questions?
Anything on the agenda?
No, how you get on the board of the Sustainable Housing Society. I was told you had to be invited.
I think that is how it goes. I can't address it, but yeah, I don't know how it happens.
Well, if 2 of the 3 board members are employees of the village, didn't you know?
Well, we're not talking about, can't address anything on the letter, Dave. Sorry. Yeah.
So if I may, you did email me and tell me that it would be on the agenda, and you did email me and say that the answers would be forthcoming in a week. And then on the agenda, it says it'll be a written response.
Yep. But we're not going to be talking about your letter because of legal.
Oh, that sounds very. Maybe I'm the one that wrote the letter. I should have not why.
Well, it's at least there. We have no comment on that. We can't comment to that because it's legal.
How long will it take to get, if I sent in on my list of questions, how long would it take to get answers to those?
I'm not sure.
A general idea.
What?
We can't, we don't know. We don't know without knowing the questions, to be honest.
We don't have all this information. To us, I guess, it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Well, yeah, it's I can't speak to it because of legal, and that is why we can't speak to it.
No, I'm
Once-
just
once-
asking a general
once-
question.
Well, anything you send in, any questions you send into the office, they will look up the facts to them and get back to you.
Okay, and if one of my questions happens to be a question that you can't answer for legal reasons, you would say that.
Yeah,
So you have a lawyer on board?
yeah,
And who is he?
It's a, if I may.
yeah, go ahead.
It's a firm out of Kelowna that deals with municipal governance.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dave.
Can I ask why I wasn't allowed to be on the agenda?
Oh, because the questions you had on your were not to us, it should have been to the attainable housing. We're not attainable housing.
Can you tell us who attainable housing is if we wanted to ask questions of them?
I can't speak to that either. Sorry,
Why?
it's illegal.
But isn't that public knowledge?
Yeah, you can look it up, yeah. You can look it up, it's public knowledge.
But if it's public knowledge, why can't you say?
Because it's a legal issue right now.
I can tell you afterwards. Not pretty much giving that 2 weeks.
Okay, anything further? We will carry on then.
We have a presentation from Philippe Roux on a proposed cannabis project. The floor is yours.
All right.
All right, well, first of all, hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. My name is Philip Roux. I reside in Cranbrook, British Columbia. I want to thank the council, men and women here today to give me this opportunity to present a very interesting project. I've been cultivating cannabis medically for a very long time. For those of you who knows anything about regulations, there's the original program was called the MMAR. Then it evolved into the ACMPR program, and now we're with full legalization. We have licensed producers. I own a cannabis nursery in the industrial zone in Cranbrook presently. It's been licensed since 2019. And I also own a consulting company that gives me the flexibility and freedom to travel throughout this country to consult the big operations who've wasted tens of millions of dollars building inefficient cannabis facilities. The land that we're discussing today is 9006 Ranger. It's a industrial parcel over there, huge piece of land, nothing on it right now. And it would be a perfect location for me to expand my business. I cultivate cannabis in shipping containers. The reason I cultivate it in shipping containers is one, the ecological impact of recycling the containers. They come back and forth from China. They don't want them back. So what happens with the containers is they're stuck here in Canada. Most people use them for storage or, whatever else, but I've developed a proprietary cultivation method inside the containers, which allows me to cultivate cannabis at a cost which is very competitive. And the beauty of the containers is it allows you to not have to spend tens of millions of dollars to build a mega facility. You can gradually scale the container build out up as per the demand. So I have, normally I would have the screen working, but there's a template. So basically the goal is to have a micro cultivation facility which consists of 50 40-foot shipping containers. In an ideal situation, and this all ties into the municipal authority setbacks and rules and regulations regarding horticulture. But the beauty of the containers is that I can position them in a way that will allow us to optimize the smallest parcel sizes necessary to generate the most money. So in an ideal world, I would have a row of containers, 50 long, with the double doors facing a 3-sided container butted up to those double doors. And inside the double doors, there would be a man door cut in. So 0 structural changes, with the exception of the hallway, as we'll call it. And that would be only so that we could access the grow cans or the grow pods securely. Because they're in containers, we can maneuver how they are positioned. We could have a double row to be more efficient if we didn't have the 400 feet of length to grow in. I have some pictures. I don't know. Let's try to show you guys to give you an idea. So, excuse me, guys. You guys have the slide, but basically, so this is like the ideal setup. Just a straight row of containers. I don't know if you guys like that. Oh yeah, geez, thank you. Yeah, so that is the ideal setup. So 50 cans. Yeah, they're they're 8 feet wide, and then the hallway would be 10 40-foot cans with 3 sides and the open face butted up with man doors on each end to make a super long hallway. And then this is a visual of what it would look like, like such. So that's the optimal layout. And then the secondary layout, if we were working with the smaller parcel, would be 25 cans, and then we would have a double hallway, 3 sides open face, 3 sides open face, so that we could compact it and make it a little bit more efficient. So, and then here's how that would look. Give you guys an idea, like that. Now, the cool thing is, cultivating this way, we get to use equipment that is multi-purpose. So in these big facilities, you've got millions and millions of dollars of HVAC, and they're not really doing a good job at repurposing the heat. So obviously the big issue in cultivating cannabis is they generate a lot of heat. The grow lights generate heat. So what we have to do is we have to find a way to cool that heat. And in doing so, we disperse lots of BTUs into the atmosphere for no real reason other than to keep the grow lights cool. Now, the interesting thing with this parcel is it's zoned for horticulture, and we plan on repurposing this heat into these greenhouses. So they're just little hoop houses like this. Yeah, thank you very much. So the hoop houses. And the reason we're doing this is because typically you have lots of waste. So in rock wool hydroponic cultivation, you take that rock wool, goes to the garbage. I cultivate in organic cocoa with organic inputs, so I can recycle all of my inputs, which have already been paid for by the cannabis operation. I can bring it to the greenhouse. I can produce sustainable agricultural crops, because the waste byproduct of the runoff, as well as the cocoa and the heat, will give me an extended growing season. I should be able to cultivate for 9 months in a greenhouse hoop house versus, I don't know, 4 or 5 months here. I don't know what the growing season is. Obviously, the best place is in Creston for the length of the season, but Canal Flats could be positioned to even beat Creston's season by repurposing this heat that's just being dispersed out into the air. And then, so the cool thing is so we want to do cabbage and tomatoes because my wife is in the process of expanding the cabbage roll business. And, we're going to bring some today. We didn't think anybody was going to show up. Sylvie never, didn't give us the heads up. But, the inputs being subsidized allow us to be very competitive because, like I said, the cocoa can be reused, the runoff for the fertilizer can be reused, and the heat, the big thing is the heat from the air conditioners, from the grow pods can be repurposed. Now, this is just small scale. There's many places that are doing this in Eastern Canada. They're doing it with Bitcoin miners already. I know there's a huge Bitcoin operation here, and they're making a killing in Montreal, taking that heat from those Bitcoin machines that's being exhausted into these greenhouses, and they're doing it to scale like way beyond what I'm doing. So there's people doing it already. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's along the side of the highway. You can look it up. And I believe I can prove the pilot mod project here with the medical cannabis operation that may influence the Bitcoin operation to follow suit. So, there's tons of potential. I believe that, the next 100 years, we really need to focus on sustainable agriculture. It's one of the most important things. I mean, you got no food, you're not going to be alive very long, right? And the nice thing is by cultivating cannabis in a sealed pod, I can eliminate a lot of the issues relating to cannabis cultivation. The smell, number one concern everybody has, it stinks. So we use carbon filters. Instead of putting filters in the ductwork and venting air in and out, we seal the container as it already is. We circulate the air in the container through these carbon filters, and it prevents any odors from escaping because they're fully sealed. We also have air scrubbers, which do a very good job at passing air and spores. So, in terms of cultivating medical cannabis, it has to be very clean. You can't have any contaminants, and the contaminants would be typically found in the air or in the water. So obviously air purification is a must. We also need to purify the water. I've been advised that there's a shallow well issue that, or the water table is quite low or high, I guess. I don't know what the proper term is, but in order to address that issue, I wouldn't necessarily, because of the size of my operation, it's quite small relative to the big facilities that I normally see. I would more than likely be required to truck water in and store it in a container or a cistern temporarily until maybe one day municipal water and sewer gets brought to the property. Who knows? But in the interim, I would be using about 2,000 liters of water a day, which is the equivalent of about 5 people in a typical household. So, I mean, if there's tons of houses around, it can sustain a house. I would just essentially be using the water supply to start a traditional home. And then because the rules recently changed, we don't need to have all that ugly barbed wire fencing anymore. The government, realized that pretty much anybody can get a pair of bolt cutters and just walk on in. They would rather have internal security, and that's why the shipping containers are so nice, because you have the metal layer, which, it would take a while to get through. Then you have the interior layer, which is essentially an extra protection. And then the doors, once you're in, they're all key code access. So for the staff, and my little operation would have about 7 workers, 4 full-time, 3 part-time workers, but they would each have their own codes. So you'd be able to track person A, person B, person C, when they entered, who was where, when, basically. And on top of that, they've removed the need for these big, ugly spotlights because, in Vancouver, there's a lot of complaints about light pollution and this and that. So one of the newly approved devices is a simple motion sensor spotlight, which activates on motion. And then it won't consistently record, you got an animal or an intruder, it'll briefly record for 30 seconds, backs up on a drive better than the one that kept falling out of the TV. And then that's just kept on file for 365 days. So the long and short is there's huge opportunities for sustainable agriculture here on one side. The medical cannabis market is continuously evolving. As more and more countries go online with medical sales in Europe and throughout the rest of the world, we're kind of losing our competitive advantage. So everybody is looking as to how Canada has legalized cannabis and picking apart all the pitfalls of what mistakes were made. And I mean, my consulting business profits from all the inefficiencies that I've seen throughout my career, but at the same time, it's kind of like sad to see this province, who had such an advantage for so long in the knowledge, right? Just kind of have it all slip away. So this would be an excellent opportunity to bring back sensible agriculture that doesn't cost tens of millions of dollars. It allows small business entrepreneurs to start a viable business and slowly expand as the demand increases. And I would love to have the opportunity to do that here in the community of Canal Flats. It's a prime piece of land, and I would love to answer any questions or concerns that any of you may have with regards to medical cannabis, the sales, the distribution. Any questions, by all means, ask away. I'm an open book. I got nothing to hide.
Okay, do we have any questions from the council? Go ahead.
The look of this, because this is right off of Granger Road.
Yes.
And so anytime that somebody's driving right in off the road, I mean, just from a visual standpoint, we want to make sure that, you know, there is a nice welcoming look to our community. And, you know, it looks to me like the first thing that we're going to see is shipping containers, you know, just stacked up and piled right there.
Not stacked up.
But visible, but very visible. And, you know, what ways or what options do you have to kind of beautify that so that it doesn't look so industrial and cold?
Well, one of the things that I think makes things look better is having them match in color. I mean, the last thing you have to understand, the goal here is to bring foreign investors to Canal Flats. So I also have a vested interest in not having these look like shit. You know, like the reality is presentation and first impressions are very important. So the same concerns you have for people coming to your community, I have as well. Because the buyers, if they see ratty old rusted containers, that's not going to bode well for, it doesn't matter what's going on inside. The perception is going to be skewed. So painting them is one thing that, or essentially buying them new, right? Like getting the universal look is step one. You could also side them, but I mean, it's, I don't know, painting them is a big one. Like having them all the same color and looking all the same. That's one of the things that I would really like to do. I have a few of them already, and I'm willing to paint those to match all the future ones that I buy. So we have a uniformity. You know, you can side them, but again, it's, yeah, there's tons of things you can do, but at the end of the day, it's got to look great. I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, even I think if you were to have a fence and the fence was nicely designed or built like that at least takes away that shipping container.
Sure. I mean, I don't personally like barbed wire. And,
well, yeah, I would,
you know, like it's,
Yeah, something similar to what Iron has.
I don't know what that is.
The Bitcoin thing there.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, there's fencing, there's painting, there's siding, you know, I'm here to, sorry?
Landscape.
Yeah, trees, that's another option. Yeah, we could have big trees, cedars, yeah. They take time to grow.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just the whole shipping container thing right on basically the corner of Granger and Burns Ave, that kind of doesn't fall in line with our OCP. So, you know, if there was a space maybe further back or something that would be more palatable.
Sure, wherever, I was.
Also right across the street, there's a daycare.
I have to leave this with Sophie or Sylvie, sorry, with the community bylaws and regulations. I'll put them wherever you want me to put them. It's not hard for me. They're movable, right? It's just, from my understanding, that was the only parcel that had the proper zoning.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So I asked Philip to come in and speak to council just to see if they had an appetite. There's no decision that needs to be made today.
No.
First of all, he needs to enter into an agreement with the property owner. So that's step one. Until that's done, nothing else will proceed. What I'm proposing, it does, the zone does allow horticulture, but it doesn't specifically speak to cannabis. And I think that that might be a great opportunity to bring it to the public, to have a zoning amendment to add cannabis as a permitted use, at which time then the public would have an opportunity for comment, but the decision ultimately would be with council. And so that's staff's
Sure.
to this.
So would you be willing to do a presentation for the community?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, I was gonna do one here today, but it kind of didn't work out and, you know, no big deal. Like it's, I want people to be excited. I don't want to go to a place where there's tons of resistance. I live that a lot, right? So let's clear up the misconceptions. I'm open to answering any questions you guys have. And at the end of the day, I just want to create some jobs, good paying jobs, because there's none, right? It's really hard to find a good paying job. So I figure it's easier to create them than hope somebody gives you one.
Okay, Phil, there's a lady who
Oh,
would like to ask.
Well, actually, I was just wanting to address who's the property owner of that property.
I'm not allowed to go into the property owner ownership,
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
but I'm sure you could probably figure it out.
I'm pretty sure I can.
Okay, well, thanks, Phil, but was is there more questions?
Did Joel have a question too?
No, I was just gonna say what he was saying, I was gonna say trees, but trees are.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks a lot, Philip. Yes, yeah, and we'll talk to you in your future.
So the next item is Sean Doherty, in regards from the Canal Flats Community Society regarding the splash park. Mr. Doherty, I have a printout here that might be more.
Did I make one?
Yeah, that's the formatted version.
Oh. Okay. All right, thank you, council. For those who don't know me, my name is Sean Doherty. I'm president of the Canal Flats Community Society. I have some exciting news. We've been raising money for a splash park for probably the last 3 years plus. And this year is going to be the year that it comes to fruition. So we're super excited about it. I just wanted to present you guys with the splash park. There's kind of an initial design of the splash park. I guess what I'm here to answer any questions that you guys might have, but just to kind of maybe ask permission or so that we can sit down with maybe Matt and Chuck to figure out where exactly you want this to live in the park. And we have engineers showing up in April to do the geotech so we can get started on the foundation. So you guys have any questions about the splash park itself? I'd be happy to try to answer them. Does council have any questions? So this is sort of what it will look like, I guess. Yes. And you will be getting engineering on it and water flow and stuff on it, right? Yes.
How many features could you get into the park?
There will be 8 features. The maximum flow of the gallons per minute for all the features comes to 60 gallons a minute. But talking with Mitchell, he says they can change that a little bit with low flow nozzles. So it'd be more like 45 gallons a minute if all the features were running at the same time.
I think one of the features of these things is that they shut off when they're not being used.
Yes.
If it's running full time, full blast, it's 60 gallons a minute. If it's,
He said
it's not every couple of minutes.
it shuts down and each unit could be on and off by itself. We can decide on how long we want them to run when they run. If it's 30 seconds or if it's a minute or 2 minutes. There's other features where you can hit a little quick pedal and it runs one side, and then another feature where there's a little hand thing and it runs another side. And we could change some of these sprayers too. We haven't like sat down and locked down on the sprayers. If you guys wanted to go a little bit less low flow, we could look at different low flows, but 45 gallons a minute is quite a bit less than what we were looking at on a different design. I think it was up to 150, 200 gallons a minute.
Sean, is the water recyclable, kind of like in car
Nope,
washing?
it's in and out.
Okay.
It's the cleanest way. I don't think I'd want my grandkids, recycle.
Well, don't they have have something like cleans it and recycles it,
There is, it's way more expensive,
right?
and you have to have somebody certified to maintain like a pool to make sure that you got the pH and the chlorine and all the stuff.
Oh,
is
okay,
So-
right. Yeah.
So this is gonna be just using our town water. Send it out.
Thanks.
With that effect, low rates at all, nearby?
I wouldn't think so. It's a 6-inch line that we're gonna be tying into, and we need an 1.5-inch line. So
We'll see.
yeah, I'm not an engineer.
And that will come with the engineering as well. So,
Yeah, I guess he would be able to tie, but I think on here, on the PSI, this may help you guys understand a little bit better. It's like the max PSI that we need is gonna be 10 pounds. And I think our water system runs about 48 pounds. So that's the maximum amount of PSI that it's gonna pull away from them. And so I wouldn't think it's gonna make much difference. I guess because you're gonna be close to it.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Mitchell, he said a 4-inch line would made a difference. If we're going to a 4-inch line, we have concerns, but we're on a 6, so we should be just fine.
okay, any other questions? Go ahead.
How do we, so you're gonna consult with Chuck and Matthew about location? Is there any plans to move the existing playground that's in there and then, maybe just restructure kind of how that plot is used?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about maybe moving the playground, kind of with the size of this one, it looks like it would fit quite well in sort of in front of the playground and the pavilion.
Okay.
On that little stretch, not so close to the hall, but sort of in between, like right along there. But that'll be up to council to make those decisions, because it's gonna be your guys' splash park when we're done.
Okay, anything further?
So if we're gonna reach our goal this year, does that mean construction will start next year? Or-
Construction should start this year.
Is that right?
We have,
Nice.
we're just dealing with engineers right now, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Where do you find to do the bids on this?
The work that's not gonna be done by the splash
Don't worry,
park,
you'll be hearing from me when we're digging holes.
it's gonna be volunteer. So, yeah, we talked with Chris, he's totally on board with us, so we're gonna save a little bit of money on the concrete side. He's offered his equipment, he's offered the gravel for free, the steel he'll sell it to us at cost and then sell us the concrete, so we're gonna save a ton of money on that side of it, and I think that's one of the big reasons we're gonna be able to get it done this year.
Nice.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Well, to add to Joel's comment there, when it does come time to pour it and everything, we'll be reaching out to all the contractors in town to come out and lend a hand to. We'll be on our knees with our hand out saying, guys, bring your trowel and come out and help some.
Okay. Thanks, Sean.
So, do you want me to call Chuck and Matt and go and have that visit with them?
Go ahead.
You always said, as we discussed today, you already had permission from council to meet with them,
Okay.
so.
So it's okay to have that conversation. Thank you guys very much.
Sean?
The next item is the building permit report, that the building permit report for February 2025 is free for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councilor Whitesell and Councilor Stanberry. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Public Works report, that council received the February 2025 Public Works report for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Reed, Councillor Whitesell. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
The Parks and Rec report, that council received the Parks and Recreation report for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Reed and Councillor Stanbury. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
The check register, that the check register to February 28, 2025 be received for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Stanbury and Councillor Whitesell. Any discussion? All in favor?
No, there's discussion.
Oh, go ahead.
There's about 4 bills for Castle Fuels. Is that a normal amount of money to be paid? And is that just higher in the month? $1,952 for what? Check number, what do you use, 05?
Go ahead.
There are numerous Castle Fuel credit cards, so that may be why there's 4 payments. And that would be for the snowplow, all the equipment, fire truck, fire department, they each have a card. I don't think it's anything out. Ms. Robinson didn't even highlight it for me, so I'm gonna assume that's a standard amount.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have a few questions, so I'll just carry on. Item number 13, $1,600 for rentals, FR rentals. What are we renting?
Go ahead.
That is the water pump for, water pump replacement for the arena. Nope, sorry. A pump main lift station. That's what, no, sorry. FR rental, a hydraulic cylinder. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
And I don't know what that is.
It's hydraulic cylinder, but
Yeah,
what's it being used for?
I don't know.
It's just,
It's probably, it's either the arena or public works, but I'm not sure what department. I can find out for you.
okay, I would like that. Deno Cyber Dynamics in $600, $585. Line number 22. I guess if you lose.
Yeah, go ahead.
That is a monthly fee for the alarm on the lift station number 1.
The Castle Fuse. Applied compression systems, design, $11,612.
That is the sewer lagoon upgrade project. That is a lagoon blower service. That was approved by council.
That's
in
part of the
November, October.
renovations to the sewer lagoons?
Yes.
Yes.
Urban Systems is 10986, line number 20. What are they working on now?
That is still the dike upgrade. That is the sewer lagoon dike upgrade.
So the second part of the upgrade.
And Willesley Mechanical Group, $6,000, line 21.
The Zamboni boiler.
It's a new boiler.
I'm not sure if it's a new or repair.
Is that a charge to the arena?
Yes.
Does it show when the charges go out?
Sorry?
Well, it's in our books now, so is that what's the invoice to regional district?
No, it doesn't
No,
work that way, but it'd be accounted for in the budget.
The other question I had was the visas. Visa bill, you see. Last month, we spent $7,000, $7,067 on the visa bill. And this month it's $8,900 for a total of almost $16,000 on visa bills. What's the type of expenses and get into that?
I'd have to give you a report, but a lot of our monthly, like Microsoft 365, a lot of things like that just come off. It's mostly my credit card.
Yeah, good
Because
time.
mine is the general credit card. And so those are mostly repeats, or if we're buying training, then it's usually on my credit card, things like that. So it can be quite high. I think I have a $11,000 limit or 10,000. And it's the general Visa card that we use for everything. So if I'm buying things for a grant, for example, I buy the tables and chairs for the hall, they're going on here. So things like that. So it can be very high, can be very low, but there are definitely items that are repeat monthly charges.
How much of that would be for meetings and travel, et cetera, for staff and or?
No, those would be paid for independently. You'll see them. There's one there for me for $114 from when I went to the to Melody Motors to pick up the EV vehicle. That was mine.
You have to drive.
I had to drive shop there.
Okay, and so those, any personal expenses are not on the company credit card, they're on
No.
personal expense accounts, then we pay. Thank you very much.
Okay, can I get or can I get all in favor? Carried.
The interim CAO report, that the interim CAO report for February 2025 be received for information.
Can I get a mover and seconder? Councillor Whitesell and Councillor Reid. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Marcel.
When does the budget have to be done?
Oh, go
May
ahead.
15th.
Yeah.
May 15th? That's why they get it to the provincial government.
Yes.
Yes.
What stage are we in now?
Go ahead.
Final. We have to start uploading the documents to the repository early next week, and then the audit will be April 7th. So it's very different this year than we've ever experienced it before. So stay tuned. We'll let you know how we find it, because this is new for us all. Usually the auditors come for a week, and now they're not. So we don't know how that's gonna work, but we don't really have a choice.
Oh, we upload it to them.
So what does council meet and have input into the budget?
As soon as that is done, we will be preparing the budget for council.
Get close.
Go ahead.
And through the mayor to Sylvie, what are we going to be doing that through committee of the whole again? Okay.
Anything further? All in favor? Carried.
Sponsorship for Canal Flats Food Bank, that the Village of Canal Flats apply to the RDEK 2025 discretionary grant and aid on behalf of the Canal Flats Food Bank in the amount of $1,000.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Reid and Councillor Stanbury. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
The next item, request from Canal Days Festival Society that council authorize waiving the rental fees for the baseball diamond and RV camping for Canal Days 2025 in the amount of $500, and that Dunn Street from Burns Avenue to Luck Avenue be closed on Saturday, June 7th, 2025 from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Stanbury and Councillor Reid. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
The mayor's report, that the mayor's report for March 2025 be received for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Whitesell and Councillor Stanbury. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
And the last item, the public notice bylaw adoption, that Village of Canal Flats public notice bylaw number 284, 2025 be adopted.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Stanbury and Councillor Whitesell. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
And adjournment at 7:14 PM.
Okay, I get a mover in a second. Councilor Reed and Councilor Whitesell. All in favor? Carry.